Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Taylor and today is just gonna be a little crochet and chat. It's been so long since I just sat down and talked with you guys. Normally either a crochet and chat or like a get ready with me is a way that I can catch up with you guys, just let you know what I've been up to. And gosh, it's been a lot this past like month and a half-ish. So as you can tell, or if you haven't seen any of my recent videos, I moved. I'm very excited about this new chapter of my life. Before I go any further, don't forget to go grab a beverage and a project to work on. I'm actually working on a new mandala kind of sweater thing. This is not my pattern. I got this off of Pinterest, and I got a Dr. Pepper right here. I am so hot right now. I am so hot because I went from, well, I guess they're not completely west facing, but more west facing than I would like them to be, the windows. Don't forget to subscribe and grab a project, and let's just sit and chat. Comment down below what you've been up to lately. I would love to know how you've been doing. So, yes, I did in fact move. I moved in with my boyfriend. We are living in a little 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment now, actually outside of the city's area. If you are new to the channel, I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota for a year, and during that year I met my wonderful, beautiful, amazing boyfriend, and we decided, we were ready to take that next step. We had all the necessary conversations that I wanted to have prior to moving in, and my expectations and desires for what that means in our relationship. So we felt that it was the best move for us. So right now I am in our spare bedroom. That is actually where I work from home every day, and most of everything that was at my old apartment is in here as well. So I have my bookshelf, I have my little credenza thing here, I've got my desk, I have my curtains from my living room, so it's kind of like what my old apartment looked like, but I was able to finally put up all my artwork that I love. I do want to do a room tour just of this room, but I have been traveling for the past 3 weeks. I was in Mankato, Minnesota, and then I was in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and then I was in Cleveland, Ohio. And it was just a lot, but thankfully I was able to kind of come home in between. So the square that I was using, this is as big as it's supposed to be, but I want it bigger. So I have been crocheting quite a lot, and when I was in Cleveland, I decided that I was going to start working on some more goals. One thing about me is a goal helps keep me centered. Goals help me keep moving forward, especially when I was living alone. Goals help me really put my priorities into perspective. So some of the goals that I have for now, so they started on Monday until October 31st, so Halloween, is I wanted to buy no yarn and buy no books, actually. These things I don't think will be very difficult. The only reason I bought books during my time traveling is because I really like supporting independent bookstores, and the books I got were actually pretty cool if you want to go check out that book haul that I did. So I don't know, I really want to read down my physical TBR. So one of my goals is actually to read 20 books, 10 of which have to be physical TBR books. And I'm not worried per se. It's just, I feel like I'm getting into a little bit of a slump. Like, not a big one, just a little one, because I can tell that my reading has definitely slowed down, and I can't tell if that's for better or for worse. I think it's for the better, because a lot of the books that I've been reading are a little bit thicker, a little bit harder, and I think that it's just been more challenging for me, and I guess I don't see a big problem with that. For example, I was reading the new Jim Crow, and that took me at least, I think, 10 days to read, which is a long time for me to read a book. Another goal that I have is I want to finally update my Shopify. Oof. I have not done that in a long time. I think the only thing I have listed on there are some book sleeves, and if this is something I want to do, I want to be able to have these things available for people to purchase. So what I've decided I'm going to do is every day I'm going to just list one product, and then I'm going to post a reel about that product, which I think is a really good way of getting me motivated and keeping me motivated, so that I'm posting every day, and it'll take me like 10 minutes to just do the listing. So that's kind of my thought process, what I want to do, and I think I'm done with holiday crocheting for now, at least with the big stuff. I have crocheted 4 blankets for people, and I am just so burnt out on making blankets, you would not believe. It is just not the time for me anymore to be making blankets. I just want a break from it, to be honest with you. And I'm really excited to work on this, like, I'll post a photo of kind of what I want to do. So it's like 6 panels, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep the same colors. So here's what the close-up looks like. And I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then I've got a big pile right in front of me of ends that I need to weave in, so yikes, I do not want to do that. Other goals I have include like working out 3 days a week, and it's really nice because there's actually a really nice workout room at this new apartment complex so Chad and I have been going and working out together, which has been really nice and a good motivator for, I think, the both of us. Those are my goals, and the reason why I don't want to buy any books or yarn until like November is because I'm going to Sioux Falls for my birthday weekend, and I'm really, really, really excited about this. I get to go to my favorite yarn store, Prairie Road Yarn, and I definitely want to, shop there. And I also get to go to Last Stop CD Shop, so I've been trying to engage with physical media more recently, so I've actually started buying more DVDs, and so I think if there's a certain DVD that me and my boyfriend want to pick up, we should definitely take a look to see if it's there. Plus, Last Stop does this really cool thing. If you come in during your birthday month, you get a free book or DVD, I believe it is. And that's a great deal. So I'm excited to go there and just show Chad this place that I loved so much for some very formative years in my early adult life. So I'm super, super excited about that. So I want to make sure that I have the money and the capacity to be able to, spend what I want to there. Plus, we're going to be getting a hotel room. It is going to be at the same weekend as the Jacks Coyotes game, and if you know anything about South Dakota, that is a big deal. I was wondering why, when I was booking the hotel room, I was like, why are so many of the hotels completely booked up? This is not like Sioux Falls at all. What is going on? Yeah, it's a football game, so of course, of course. And I'm really excited. My sister actually rushed the same sorority that I was in, because so the way that sororities work is you're a legacy, your little sisters or your daughters are legacies. And so she rushed and got a bid, and I'm really, really excited. So her initiation will be this fall as well. So I'll actually be in South Dakota twice, I think, in November, and I'm excited, because then I'll bring my boyfriend with me, and we'll go to Brookings, and I'll get to show him the SDSU campus, and maybe we'll go bar hopping a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but just these places that meant so much to me when I was younger that I just want to be able to share with him. So I think I'm in a bit of a crochet slump. I haven't bought yarn. Actually, technically it's a lie, but I haven't bought yarn in 3 months, and I say that that's technically a lie because I did buy a skein of yarn at Goodwill because my boyfriend's brother said he wanted a crocheted camouflage hat for Christmas. Well, I don't have any camo yarn, but the Goodwill in the town I live in had some. And I would just like to say that they had 2 skeins, and I controlled myself and only bought one. So, and then I made the hat like that day, so I still have like maybe a third of the skein left, so really not all that much. But yes, I did buy a skein of yarn. But I don't consider that breaking my no-buy, because it was with a very pointed purpose, and I already, you know, I already made the beanie, but you know, it is what it is. I have been using a lot of yarn recently because I've been crocheting so many blankets, and I've actually been making blankets with yarn already in my stash, which is really, really, really nice, and I think like good for me. I have so much yarn, and I find it hard to continuously be inspired, especially because I don't have a good system to have my yarn showcased. Like, my yarn is all in bins and like under my bed and all this stuff, and I'm really trying to get that stash down. I've used up so much yarn over the past couple months. The last time I truly like bought yarn was in Duluth, so that was late June, and I don't feel the want to like buy yarn, I think, because I don't have a specific project in mind. And the thing too is that I would buy yarn with specific projects in mind, and then I either never do them or it takes me years to do them. Like, I have all of these different colors here in front of me, which I'm sure were meant for other projects. So why do I have all these colors? I don't know. I mean, here's what I'm doing with them now, and that's cool, great, grand, wonderful, but it's just, I used to be spending like $200, $300 a month on yarn when I had more like disposable income, we'll say, because when I was in Minneapolis, my living expenses were just higher, so I didn't have as much disposable income. But especially when I lived in Rapid and when I lived in Sioux Falls, I mean, I just had a really tough time towards the end of me living in Sioux Falls and towards the end of me living in Rapid, and I notice now in myself that I was like really sad at those points in my life. Like, I wanted to be happy, and I tried really hard. I tried what felt like as hard as I could, but I could not get myself to be happy. I was in like a pretty bad relationship in the tail end of me living in Sioux Falls, so like broke that off, and then I kind of ran away to Rapid. And I liked Rapid for what it gave me, which was time to heal, but there was no way I was going to be able to stick around there long term. Like, I only lived there about 9 months, but it truly felt like an eternity. Like, it felt so long that I lived there. And I was sad, and so there was actually a Joann's when those were still open, and right across the street was a Books A Million. So I was spending a ton of money on books and yarn to try and like kind of quell the pain that I was in, because I was just so sad, and I was trying to date out in Rapid, and it just was not working out for me. I did not fit in there, and it felt like everybody needed to tell me that I just did not fit in that area of the world. Truly, moving to Minnesota, the best thing I've ever done, and it's led me to so many opportunities. And I think I've been talking with people recently about, because me and my partner, we definitely plan on getting married one day. That is something that we both want in our future. I was talking with some fellow coaches at this coaches conference I was at, and they're all quite a bit older than me, and I said, I think that there's really something to be said about waiting until after you find yourself a little bit more to truly like get married. And they were like, yeah, that's so true. They were just kind of like imparting their wisdom onto me, and I was just kind of voicing my thoughts. Because one thing I notice is I feel like when there's a lot of uncertainty within somebody's future, sometimes we tend to make decisions that have long-term impacts. For example, when I lived in South Dakota, many people would get married right out of college. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that would not have been a good choice for me in what I was doing in my life at that point, and the partner that I had at that point in my life. But I was truthfully a little bit bored with my life, just because you're a student for 20 years and then you get the job, and then what? And I was having a really tough time with that. And so I was like talking with my mom, I'm like, gosh, I can see why people get married and have kids so early, like after graduating college, because trying to figure out something to do every day is hard. And so there are definitely, I think that there's a beauty in boredom, and I've heard a few more people kind of like talking about this concept recently with like getting off their phones and really prioritizing slowing down and, you know, taking time for yourself that's not shopping or being super productive and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, I really don't want this to come off as like people make all these bad decisions and no one should ever get married, no one should ever have kids. That's not what I'm saying. I think it's just like when you're feeling lost, you have to take time. So when I moved to Minneapolis, I was feeling super lost, to be honest. Like I had just come off of this like very turbulent almost 2 years of my life, and I was really lost in what I wanted to do, but it was really nice being near family. And it put me in the right place at the right time to take my coaching position. And it also put me in the right place at the right time for me and my partner to get together. It really felt like, I remember in Rapid just feel like my roommate at the time was like, I want to move to Minnesota, and I was like, all right, we're moving to Minnesota. And she was like, are you sure? You know, blah, 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 blah. And we talked about it a lot. And I was like, no, you want to move? Let's move. And obviously things didn't work out with her moving, but I remember feeling like kind of called to move home at that point. And the way in which it has, like, all of this wonderful stuff has, like, returned to me tenfold from making that decision has been such a wonderful thing. I've been able to reconnect and like grow my relationships with people I was already really close with, and you know, my boyfriend's family has welcomed me with open arms, and I get to be a part of my nephew's life, and these things wouldn't have happened had I not finally, you know, moved out of South Dakota. And, you know, there are still opportunities if I ever wanted to go back or different things going on. You know, my uncle, when I was moving to Minneapolis, he's like, why don't you just move back to Sioux Falls? Weren't you really happy here? I'm like, I was. And don't get me wrong, I was, but there was just something that was missing. And that's not to say that people don't feel fulfilled living there. I think, like, for me, it just wasn't my home. You know what I mean? Like, I may live in Minnesota. I live about an hour away from my hometown, and to me, that's enough, you know? There's just something about being close to my family, and the way that the universe has worked, I'm really happy, and I wouldn't change that for the world, to be honest with you. Oh gosh, I feel like we got so deep there. But I think, like I said, the biggest takeaway I want you to take from this is to just, like, give yourself a beat. Like, when you're at a crossroads in life, don't feel like you have to make decisions fast. There's just a lot of opportunity in life if you let yourself sit. And I'm not saying wait forever, because waiting forever, you're just gonna let things pass you by. Just a little bit of time. You know what I mean? I hope that this is resonating. Also, whenever I say things, I need people to understand, it's like a take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That is those are words that I truly live by when people try to, like, give me advice or, like, say things like, oh, this is how you should live your life. You need to take what resonates for you in your life and leave what doesn't. If everything I say today is just tinfoil hat nonsense to you, perfectly fine. You don't need to tell me that, but you don't have to take anything away from this. We're just sitting and chatting. I don't know, or tell me your life philosophy. Maybe you're like, no, you have to seize every moment as it comes. And I think that there's something to be said about that too, you know? And there's validity in all of it, you know? But yeah, I've been yapping away, and I do think that it is time to start my dinner. I am so hungry. But thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I know I always say that, like, we're gonna like crochet and chat, and then I just end up yapping to the camera for 20 minutes. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like, and please subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you as a part of our growing little community. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!